Look at that mess. I've been messing with this bar feeder for about a week now, trying to figure out what the heck was going on. And I'm not the greatest at reading electrical prints, so you can imagine how that went. And I just found out what my problem was. I gave one of the service guys a call that I used to work with at Eurotech, and he'd never worked on one of these bar feeders, but I kind of told him what my issues were, this, that, the other, and where I thought the issue was coming from, and we figured it out. So my problem is that I wasn't able to rotate this magazine at all to load a new bar. It would go through all the motions and everything until it got to the point to rotate this, and it would freak out. And this is what the issue is. So I have a bunch of stuff removed on here, but basically this plate was over top of here, and this is a like a light curtain type laser beam sensor, right? So when there's something, it's a safety sensor, so when there's something in front of here, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. So when there's something in front of here, right, that's probably going to hit this or cause some damage or whatever, it breaks this curtain, and it stops this from moving. I thought that I had checked this before, and I'd put my hand in front of it to make sure that it was actually working correctly, but I didn't take this plate off. Well, today I took the plate off, and it was not working correctly. I couldn't get it to work. So there are different types of I don't even know what this is technically called, but I would say beam type safety switches, right? Some of them are safety switches like this, if you can see this where it's actually a physical contact deal, right? Like this one where it's a magnetic contact deal. And then there's a couple different series, I guess, or types of these. Here's one over here where it's basically just a barrier, right? It's almost like a distance sensor. So you can see the light in the back go on and off when I put my hand down here, right? So that one is just looking for anything to be in front of it, right? And then it'll alarm out or go high or whatever it needs to do. This one is different. So I didn't realize this until Tyler had said that he had once worked on some Italian bar feeders where if the alignment wasn't right, basically they almost like it was a different type of laser or something. So I'm looking at this one, I'm like, that's really weird. I look over in this corner, yeah, I've just taken this off, but this is a reflector. So this shoots the beam back to it, and this is why I was getting nothing when I put my hand in front of it, is because it doesn't work that way. So if I put this in front of it, somehow it must return the beam to it, right? And it goes high, which means it's fine. And then if something interrupts that, it goes off. So that is the issue with this. And I've got to now make sure that this is aligned. And I'm pretty sure the way this needs done is that there's feet down here. You can see this, which you can thread on and off. And this must have gotten jumbled up when the bar feeder got moved. So now these are not lined up correctly, so that when the laser beam tries to shoot it from that end to that end, it's not being reflected back the way it needs to be. So that's the issue. I ran through a bunch of other things, and I understand a lot more about how this bar feeder is supposed to work now, but I guess the video is kind of on the different type of sensors that you can have. You know, because like I said, I was putting my hand in front of this expecting it to work like the one up there, but it wasn't. And another thing I noticed is that this one doesn't have any type of an adjustment on it, where if you look on this one, it's got a little adjustment on it. And I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's because this sensor is, excuse me, is like distance based. So you can dial this in, you know, if you only want to read for so much of a distance, right? As soon as I get over here, basically past center of where the loading bar would be, it stops reading it. So I guess that's one way to tell. But yeah, the point of the video is that there's a bunch of different sensors, and really, I guess, just to take your time when you're checking those things and making sure that they work correctly. I mean, I went through, you know, tracing back the 24 volts all the way back through the, you can see, even have all this apart. I got to put all this stuff back together. 24 volts from here, that runs down into the board, and then gets 24 volts from this T2, I think it's a little transformer deal down here. That I think that's where the 24 volts originates. So I followed it all the way through, and then, you know, I realized that I had 24 volts going to it, but it still wasn't working. So I know it's a longer video than it needs to be, but yep, there's different types of sensors. Make sure you know what you're actually looking for, I guess, is the moral of it. So, all right, guys. Joey Shaver, Data Manufacturing, machine shop in Florida, and just a little video on, I guess, the adventures of running a machine shop. Thanks, guys.